So what is up, everybody? As promised, I did say I was going to try to like keep everybody sort of like in tune with what's going on in my wrestling journey. The only problem is that like the company that I'm part of, confidentiality rules and confidentiality contracts. So there's only so much that I can actually say. So I can't go into too much detail, but all I can say is that training is dope. Training is awesome. Training is fun, and I enjoy it, and I am glad to be able to do it as often and as much as I can. With that being said, I miss wrestling. I really do. Like, it's getting more and more difficult to actually watch it now because of the fact that I work so much that I don't really take the time. I don't really have time to like not. I don't really have time to watch wrestling because I work too much. And when I'm not working, I'm at school and stuff like that. But it's like when I do, I try my best to sort of catch a few matches every now and again. First off, I just want to go ahead and point this out. Women's wrestling is amazing. I really feel like we take it for granted just how good women's wrestling actually is. It's like I remember growing up back in the day, talking about those. This was during the bra and panties era. You know what I'm saying? Where you had Tori Wilson winning every bra and panties match ever, basically, and it was just I mean, it's like you knew that these ladies were capable of doing more. You knew that these ladies were capable of doing more than just bronco busting and taking off their clothes and shaking it for Vinci, and it was more than just that. It's like it's like let's face it, the women are attractive, but it's like there's more to it than that, and that really sticks out to me. That's the reason why I've been trying my best to sort of get the hang of watching like more women's matches, watching more women's wrestling, just to sort of you have the likes of Thunder Rosa, AQA, Promise Braxton, uh, Tay Conti, Diana Perazzo, um, Jordan Grace, Jazz. Who, by the way, let's just give some time to just point out that Jazz is quite possibly one of the best women wrestlers ever. Quite possibly one of the best women wrestlers ever. I didn't say she was the greatest woman wrestler ever, but I do believe that if there was a discussion about that, she is definitely up there because of the fact that she's one of the few, if not only, women to wrestle from her era and is currently still doing it. She retired last year just to say, "Nah, I ain't retired yet." I mean, that's not something you say, man. That's not something that most women can do. To put it in perspective, Trish Stratus is retired. Lita is retired. Molly Holly is retired. I'm just going down a list of wrestlers who were from the same era as her who aren't wrestling anymore. Like Tori Wilson, retired. Jackie Gator. I'm just saying, it's just like it's something to really behold. It's a sight to behold that Jazz is still out here doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. Now, if only Rodney Mack could get back, I'm not gonna even do that because I'm pretty sure if Rodney Mack sees this video and sees that I'm trying to like get him back on wrestling, he'll beat me up and be like, "Nah, man, I'll do what I want to do." And I'm like, "You got it, boss. You got it, sir. You are the man." Fun fact, they also have their own wrestling company out in Lake Charles, which I intend to be a part of once I get finished training here. That's the goal. The goal is to, you know, just, finish training and then just do what I need to do. Um, with but yeah, like my wrestling progress has actually been once again fairly stable. Every day I learn something new. I'll say that. Every day I learn something new. Every day I sort of pick up on a new thing. The one thing I really like to take into consideration is that like it's making me think back to my yarding days. And like for a long time, I used to hear other fans talk about how so and so is too old or too young or not too young. They're always saying like, oh, they're too old, they're too fat, they're too this, they're too that. If you want to be a wrestler, bump what the wrestling fans are saying. Because wrestling fans don't know anything about wrestling. They think they do because they read all these, they think they do because they read, they hear all these shoot interviews and they read all these, wrestling biographies and stuff. If you want to be a wrestler, do it. DDP, Batista, they started wrestling when they were kind of old. So, I mean, look at the Boogeyman. If you, Boogeyman started when he was 40. Dude was in amazing shape too, by the way, for a 40-year-old. Like let's like to take into consideration exactly how buff and how built that man was. Is like it's a spectacle to behold. Because in his younger years, he was built, bro. Um, but yeah, like if you want to be a professional wrestler, I say just do it. Because these fans, in my opinion, like as long as I've been interacting with wrestling fans, one thing I've learned is they don't genuinely like anything, or rather, they have their own little sort of uh, I don't know. I don't know, their own perspectives as to what they want. They know what they want, but they don't know how to get what they want because in the same time they don't ultimately know what they want. They don't know if they want every wrestler on the roster to be angry and mean and beat the crap out of each other, or if they just want stuff to be goofy and silly and interesting to watch because of gimmicks or whatever. Like it varies from fan to fan, but they're always trying their best to make it seem like they're trying way too hard to be an individual and at the same time, like minded at the same time, and it's weird, you know. And like I say, one of the big reasons why I want to become a professional wrestler is because it's not necessarily I want to have fans to idolize and adore me and think that I'm this amazing person. I want to inspire people. Like I want to be able. I want to. There's three ways that I know that I've made it as a professional wrestler. One, if I tag up with a woman or a trans person and become champion and become tag champs, not intergender champs, tag champs with that person. Because it says a lot about it will say a lot if it's a woman, but if it's a trans person, I feel like that would just sort of be groundbreaking, and I would love to be a part of that moment. Number two, have a feud with that same person. You know what I'm saying? So we can sort of just build each other up. And number three, and this is a big one. This is a very important one for me. This is an important moment for me. If if another wrestler comes up to me and say, "You're the reason why I started wrestling," I know I've made it as a wrestler. Like if another wrestler comes up to me and just basically says, "You know what? I've wanted to become a wrestler because of you." I know that I've made it. That's because that's Rey Mysterio territory. That's Juventud Guerrero territory. That's like there's only like a few wrestlers who have became so big that people genuinely watched them and said, "I want to wrestle because you did it." And I feel like that would be something like that for me is a lot better than the fans saying, "I like you and I bought all your merchandise." I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to be too long, but yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't like actually expand on the actual process, but you know, I did kind of wanted to sort of let that out. That's it for the most parts. Love and peace. Y'all have a good one. As you can obviously tell by the background, the setup is a little bit different because I don't use a pad anymore. I won't keep this too long. This is long enough. But yeah, that's it. Thanks again. I appreciate it. Be safe.